Have you ever looked at your bank statement and felt that quiet, sickening feeling that something is wrong, but you couldn't quite name it? Maybe you've been making your payments every month, on time, never missing a due date, and yet somehow the number never seems to go down. Maybe you've worked extra hours, cut back on small things, skipped vacations, and still the debt is there, unchanged, unmoved, patient as a stone wall. Maybe in your quietest moments, you've wondered if you're doing something wrong. If everyone else somehow knows a secret you don't. You're not broken, but you are caught in a trap so perfectly engineered that most people never see it until it has already taken years of their life. This is the story of a man named Raphael. Stay with me until the end, because what he discovered will change the way you see every bill for the rest of your life. Rafael Mendez was 34 years old, a logistics coordinator earning $3,200 a month. Not wealthy, not desperate, somewhere in that exhausting middle ground. His apartment had 2 rooms, a bedroom with a mattress that sagged on the left side, and a living area where a second-hand couch faced a television he'd bought on installment. The kitchen smelled faintly of cheap coffee he made every morning. 2 scoops, black, no sugar, a habit born of budget, not preference. On his refrigerator, held by a single magnet, was a handwritten list. It had been there so long, the paper had yellowed at the edges. Raphael had accumulated $23,400 in debt, not through recklessness, not through gambling or luxury, through living, a car repair, a medical bill, a period of reduced hours. Each charge had felt necessary at the time. Each one had felt temporary. That is how the wall gets built, one ordinary brick at a time. Every month, Raphael paid $420 toward his debts. He split it carefully across 4 accounts, always meeting the minimum required, always on time. His credit score was good. His payments were current. By every official measure, Rafael Mendez was a responsible man managing his finances sensibly. He believed he was making progress, that the balances were shrinking. Somewhere down the road, maybe 2 or 3 years away, the list on the refrigerator would be gone. His sister Camila called him on Sunday evenings. She never asked directly about money, but sometimes she said, "You sound tired, Rafa. Are you doing okay?" He would say, "I'm fine, working through some things." Then the call would end, and the apartment would go quiet, and Raphael would sit with the specific loneliness of someone barely managing. The thought that haunted him most: he had paid $420 every month. He had done everything right. So why did the number never seem to move? He told himself he would figure it out later. Later kept arriving and leaving without him. That is what the trap counts on, not your failure, but your patience. He owned things but didn't quite feel like he did. He was managing, but only barely, and couldn't tell anyone how close to the edge managing actually was. It was a Tuesday in February, the sky the same color as the pavement. Raphael was at his desk eating a sandwich he'd brought from home when his phone buzzed. The balance on his oldest credit card was $8,340. He stared at the number. Then he scrolled back 1 year. Same card. D. Balance. $8,190. He checked the math 3 times. He had paid over $1,800 into that card in 12 months. He checked the math 3 times. $1,800 paid in. Balance grew by $150. Somewhere, $1,950 had simply vanished. He sat very still at his desk for a long time. Around him, phones rang and keyboards clicked. Someone laughed loudly near the coffee machine. Raphael heard none of it. He was doing a new calculation. If this one card had consumed $1,950 in interest alone this year, what had all 4 accounts taken across 5 years? His hands were cold. The sandwich beside him looked like something from another life. He didn't eat it. He stayed at his desk until everyone else had gone home. That evening, his colleague Dora found him in the break room. She poured herself a coffee, pulled out the chair across from him, and sat down without being invited. She was compact and precise, reading glasses on a chain around her neck. She looked at him and said, "You look like someone just told you your car doesn't exist." Raphael turned his phone and showed her the two statements side by side. Dora looked at them for exactly 3 seconds. "How long have you been making minimum payments?" 5 years. "When you carry a balance at 22% interest and pay only the minimum," she said, "the bank applies your payment to interest first." Always. What's left, sometimes almost nothing, goes to the principal. You are not buying your way out of debt. You are renting it. Raphael read those 2 words twice. The room felt smaller than it had 10 minutes ago. On an $8,000 balance at 22%, your minimum payment means you will pay for approximately 27 years before that balance reaches zero, and you'll pay nearly $15,000 in interest alone. "Why doesn't anyone explain this when you sign up?" Raphael asked. Dora looked at him steadily. "They do. It's on page 9, in 8-point font. They tell you everything. They just make sure you won't read it. The method is called the avalanche. Every extra dollar goes to the highest rate debt. When it's dead, you stack what you were paying onto the next one. The payments build momentum. Most people pay randomly. A little here, a little there. It feels fair. It feels balanced. It is financially catastrophic." She tapped the blocks in order. "This is the exit." She handed him the notepad page. "You're not bad with money, Raphael. You just never had the map. Now you do." She stood, capped her pen, and left him with the page. He went home that night and stood in front of the refrigerator for a long time. Then he took the yellowed list down, turned it over, and began writing 4 new columns on the back. He sat at his kitchen table with all 4 billing apps open until 11 p.m., pulling every number he had avoided for 5 years out into the light where he could finally see them. The highest rate was his second credit card, 24.9%. Y. Balance, $6,200. He had been paying $120 a month toward it, the minimum, because it was easier. The first week was not dramatic. It was just uncomfortable in a low, constant way, like wearing wet socks. He questioned himself every single day. On the 7th day, he sat down to recalculate. With the extra $200 directed at the high-rate card, the projected payoff date moved to 19 months. A specific number. A date he could almost touch. Something shifted. Not excitement. He was too careful for excitement. More like the feeling of a window opening in a room that has been sealed too long. By the end of week 3, the $200 extra payment had become automatic, transferred the day his paycheck arrived, before he could second-guess it. The habit had outrun the doubt. On day 21st, he opened the app for the high-rate card. For the first time in 5 years, the principal had moved by $47. He took a screenshot and stared at it. $47. The smallest victory imaginable. He felt it like a door opening. Something that had been sealed for 5 years had moved. Just slightly, but moved. He called Camila that Sunday evening. She said, "You sound different. Lighter. He said, "I think I'm figuring something out." She said, "Good." This time, he meant it too. The cafe habit broke without drama. He found, to his surprise, that the coffee he made at home tasted exactly the same. The $200 had stopped feeling like sacrifice. By the end of month 2, the system had stopped being a decision. It had become a rhythm. And the refrigerator list, 3 lines still standing, 1 already marked, watched from the kitchen wall. By month 8, the second credit card was gone. Paid, closed, done. Raphael sat at his kitchen table and felt something he had not expected. A physical lightness in his chest. He redirected the full payment on to the next debt. The avalanche had begun to move. His monthly attack on the second target was now $340 instead of $140. The timeline collapsed. By month 14, 2 debts were fully eliminated. He called Dora from a parking lot on a Wednesday evening. She said simply, "Good. Keep going." He kept going. In month 19, his sister Camila visited for a weekend. He cooked dinner. Actually cooked. Something he hadn't done properly in years. And over the meal he told her everything. He told her about the numbers, the Tuesday statement, Dora at the break room table, the notepad page. Camila listened without interrupting, which was unusual for her. She said, "I've been doing the same thing for 6 years." He said, "I know. Let me show you what Dora showed me." They sat at the table together until midnight. By month 31, 3 of his 4 debts were crossed out. His credit score had risen 41 points. The refrigerator list, still hanging, had become proof instead of punishment. The final balance was $4,100. The last mark on the list. His hands knew what to do. The wall that had stood for 5 years was, finally, almost gone. He took the paper off the refrigerator. All 4 lines crossed through. He stood at his kitchen table, turned it face down for the last time, and set his coffee mug on top of it. "I don't negotiate with minimum payments anymore. I don't let the bank decide what I owe or how long I carry it. I know exactly what every debt costs me. The total cost, not just the balance." That knowledge, what every debt actually costs, not what the bank shows you, is the thing they never wanted you to have. The map exists, and now you have it too. The map exists. I have it now, and I don't go anywhere without it. This is who I am now. Someone who sees the full cost and chooses the exit every single time. Here is what I need you to do tonight. Open every debt account you have. Write down 4 things: balance, interest rate, minimum payment, and what you paid in the last 12 months. Then subtract this year's balance from last year's. See how much the principal actually moved. Do not look away from that number. That number is the truth. It has always been the truth. Rank your debt's highest rate to lowest. That top debt is your only target. Every extra dollar goes there. Not split, not balanced, all of it there. That is the avalanche. If this story hits something real in you, hit that like button right now. Not for the algorithm, as your own commitment that you saw the trap and chose to step out of it. The bank has been patient. It's your turn. Subscribe to this channel. Every week, a story about someone who found the exit from a trap they didn't know they were in.